What do you consider to be the most important trait in a person? I'm not asking what kind of friends you're looking for. I'm speaking about the characteristics that you consider to be the most beneficial for the world, for humanity. What is the most valuable you see in people? Being smart, being active, being optimistic, physical strength, being organized. All of these qualities, for the most part, are embedded in us by nature. People are born with different tendencies and measures of these traits and will always differ in this regard. And if I evaluate people based on these traits, I will inevitably divide them into those who are more useful for mankind and less useful. We all have our genetics and the properties we inherit by nature. And all groups of people have their own qualities. Therefore, there are races and nationalities that are smarter, and those who are more organized, and those who are physically stronger. If I consider one of these qualities to be more valuable for humanity, then I will be forced to consider the race that possesses this quality to be more valuable. And what will I do if I'll find a race that has no talents in its genes at all? Because of this, some ideologies started prohibiting discussing the differences between various groups of people. Many cultures have tabooed conversations on this subject. Joseph Stalin believed that there are no irreplaceable people and that all people are born exactly the same. Probably this is why he did not believe in genetics. By studying genetics, you can see that some groups of people by nature are smarter and some are less smart. But we are now studying genetics. So how do we figure all of this out? Eugenics was presented by the scientific community to people as a practical application of Darwinism. Eugenics insisted on breeding people with useful qualities in their genes and sterilizing those with bad genes, just like we do with animals. If a person is an advanced animal and that's it, then why shouldn't we do that? We are doing it with dogs and horses. And Darwin himself wrote that for the sake of the future of humanity, we need to allow the weak and the sick to die out. They only spoil our gene pool. So, do different races have predispositions to certain positive and negative traits or not? And if yes, can we then call some races to be more useful to humanity than others? The Torah looks at people using completely different standards. Judaism values being smart, and education has always been a key aspect of our religion. But the Torah also speaks of greatness of simple folk and even their advantage over esteemed sages. The Torah appreciates being organized, being energetic, physical strength, but none of these characteristics indicate on the value of a person. The Torah gives us instructions on how to behave. These instructions are called commandment, mitzvahs. There are a lot of them, and they relate to every aspect of our life. Some of these laws were arbitrarily picked by the modern Western culture and came to be called the moral code or universal principles. According to the Torah, a person is defined by his adherence to these tenets in his daily actions. Or translating it into the language of Western culture, by how moral his behavior is. And in this, everyone has complete freedom of choice. Unlike being smart or physically strong, genetics does not determine the decency of a person. Both smart and stupid people can be equally moral. In Judaism, there are volumes of books explaining the deep meanings of commandments for those who can comprehend it. But for those who cannot, they simply follow the written laws that are also provided in our religion. I remember I was asking people if they would prefer their child to be an immoral genius or a moral person but very stupid. And many people had a hard time making the choice. According to Judaism, the answer is obvious. Living according to the Torah laws is the main thing for everybody. The Torah believes that everyone always has freedom of choice with regards to his behavior. The Torah evaluates a person only by the things in which he has freedom of choice. And this is by the action he chooses in each specific situation. And this is all individuals and groups and nationalities and races have that puts them on the same plank, because all individuals, all groups of people, all nationalities and all races have equal abilities to be moral regardless of their genes.